He stopped hiding, and for the first time, he said it out loud. That I was the one. We were just messing around. Then he ended up on top, and suddenly, everything shifted. Neither of us moved. That moment changed something I couldn't name. Welcome to my hidden story, where real feelings live quietly beneath the surface. If you've ever wanted something you couldn't explain, stay. This one's for you. It started like nothing special. A normal Thursday night. Takeout, music, just me and Jace hanging out in the apartment. He wasn't just my roommate. Jace was a mix of chaos and calm. Tall, built like someone who'd lived at the gym, tattoos down both arms, and always half-dressed. He was the kind of guy who walked into a room and somehow pulled gravity with him. The worst part? He had no idea what that did to me. That night, he tossed a pillow at me while I was scrolling. I threw it back. He lunged across the couch and we wrestled like kids, except we weren't kids anymore. He ended up straddling me, body close enough to feel the warmth between us. It was still funny, until it wasn't. His breath slowed. His muscles stopped moving. He looked down at me, eyes searching like he was trying to read something in my face. And I froze, not out of fear, but because the air around us suddenly felt too heavy to breathe. I could feel the weight of the moment pressing between us. Neither of us said a word. The silence was louder than anything else. He whispered, "I should get up." But he didn't. And I didn't tell him to. The tension lingered. Not awkward, just charged. He stayed there, close enough that I could feel every heartbeat echoing in mine. It wasn't about what either of us said. It was about what neither of us could. After a moment, he finally moved away. Slow, hesitant, like he wasn't sure he wanted to. He sat back, eyes still locked on me. "Why didn't you stop me?" he asked quietly. There was no joke in his voice, no smirk, just something raw and uncertain. I looked at him and told the truth, the only truth that mattered. Because I didn't want to. He didn't reply. He just looked at me, really looked, like he was seeing me for the first time. And in that silence, something between us changed. The air felt different. The room felt smaller. Before either of us could make sense of it, he spoke again, softer this time. "Can I stay here tonight?" No teasing, no laughter, just honesty. I nodded. We walked to my room without a word. The hallway felt endless, each step louder than it should have been. Inside, he pulled off his hoodie and sat at the edge of my bed. He didn't turn around, maybe afraid of what he'd see if he did. I climbed in beside him. Neither of us spoke. The silence wasn't empty. It was full of questions we didn't dare ask. He finally turned and lay next to me, close enough that our shoulders touched. The space between us hummed with something unspoken, fear, want, confusion, all tangled together. His hand brushed mine, slow and uncertain, like he was asking a question without words. I didn't pull away. I let him. It wasn't about crossing a line. It was about finally stopping the act, the pretending, the hiding. For the first time, I didn't feel alone in it. He exhaled, long and shaky, and whispered, "I've been pretending for too long." I didn't answer. I just reached for his hand. Our fingers met, and the world went still. No labels, no explanations. Just a quiet truth neither of us could escape. He shifted slightly, close enough that I could feel his heartbeat against mine. We didn't speak again. He rested there, breathing steady, holding on like maybe this moment was enough. And somehow it was. I didn't sleep much that night, not because he was beside me, but because, for the first time, I didn't want the night to end. Morning light crept through the blinds, soft and golden, and for the first time since we'd moved in together, everything felt right. I don't know what time it was. Early, maybe. But everything felt lighter, except my chest. that still felt heavy. Jace was still there, still in my bed, under the same blanket. Warm against my side like nothing had changed. Except somehow, everything had. His arm lay across my stomach as if it belonged there, as if it had always been there. Our legs were tangled, his breathing slow and steady. I stayed still for a long time, staring at the ceiling, trying to figure out what it all meant. Was it just one night? Would he act like it never happened? Would I? Before my thoughts could spiral, he stirred. His arm tightened around me slightly, his fingers curling in the fabric of my shirt. His voice was rough from sleep. "You're still here?" he murmured. "You're still holding me?" I whispered back. He smirked, eyes half open, heavy with sleep. "Yeah," he said quietly. "I am." We stared at each other, caught between awkward and amazed, like we'd woken up in a world we didn't quite recognize, but didn't want to leave either. He didn't move his hand. "Not just my shirt," he said softly. "Not from me. You didn't dream it, right?" I shook my head. "No," I said. "You were really here, really close." His eyes flickered, unsure but not afraid. "So you noticed?" he asked. I looked down, then back up. I noticed everything. He didn't laugh it off. He didn't pull away. He just looked at me differently now, like he'd already crossed some invisible line and was waiting to see if I'd follow. "I don't regret a single second," I told him. He hesitated, then said quietly, "Can I ask you something?" I nodded. "Was last night just something you needed to get out of your system?" His tone was careful, almost protective. I met his eyes. "No," I said. "It wasn't that." "So what was it?" I asked. He looked at me, really looked, and something in his expression softened. "It was something I've been fighting for too long," he said finally. "I just couldn't fight it anymore." The silence that followed wasn't empty. It was full of everything we'd never said out loud. I breathed in, steady, but trembling. "I wanted it too," I said. "Every second of it." His jaw tightened, not with tension, but relief. Then he moved closer, slow, deliberate. Closer than last night, closer than I expected. And somehow, exactly what I needed. His hand found mine under the blanket. Fingers brushed skin, nothing rushed, nothing forced, just warmth, real and simple. "You still want this?" he whispered. I didn't answer with words. I leaned in, closing the space between us. The world went quiet. Our foreheads touched, gentle and sure. The room seemed to breathe with us. Slow, steady, certain. It wasn't wild or reckless. It was something else, something that felt like belonging. He held me, not like someone claiming something new, but like someone realizing what was always there.
And in that quiet, everything made sense. I didn't sleep after that, not because of nerves or fear, but because, for the first time, I didn't want to miss a second of it. The way his thumb traced slow circles on my hand, the way the morning light caught his hair.
The way it all finally felt right. When the sun came up, soft and golden, I realized something simple. I wasn't just next to him. I was exactly where I wanted to be. I turned toward him and reached for his hand, holding it tight. "I'm not looking for something casual," I said quietly. "I want you to want me like this, like now, like it matters." His jaw tightened, eyes softening. "I do," he said simply. The silence that followed wasn't awkward. It was heavy, real, the kind that settles when two people cross an invisible line and know they can't go back. He looked at me again, different this time. Softer, steadier, sure. Without a word, he pulled me closer, his arm circling my waist until I could feel his heartbeat against my back. He exhaled deeply, tension slipping from his body for the first time that night. His hand rested over my stomach, grounding, calm. Slow, he murmured, his voice low. Patient. Real. The sound of his words sent a quiet ache through me. I felt my body relax into his, the space between us fading until we breathed in the same rhythm. "I've never wanted anyone like this," he whispered. Something about those words broke me open, made my chest tighten, made everything inside me feel like it was on fire. Because I felt it too. He held me closer, no pretense, no hesitation. Just honesty. No walls left to hide behind. Then, in the dark, his lips brushed the back of my shoulder. "I think I've been in love with you since the week we moved in," he said quietly. My breath caught. The room stilled, time freezing around us. I didn't answer right away. I just closed my eyes and let the truth sink in, the one I'd been afraid to say out loud. When morning came, it wasn't sunlight that woke me. It was him, still there, still wrapped around me like he'd never left. His arm lay across my stomach, his thigh draped over mine, his chest pressed against my back like a quiet promise. I didn't move. I just listened to his breathing, slow, deep, safe. Even in sleep, his fingers curled in the fabric of my shirt like he didn't want to let go. "Jace," I whispered. He stirred, his voice rough with sleep. You're still here." He pulled me closer, lips brushing my shoulder. "Not going anywhere." The way he said it, quiet, certain, hit deeper than I expected. Maybe I needed that more than I realized. We stayed like that for a long time. No rush, no panic, just stillness. Then he shifted, turning me onto my back. His eyes met mine, soft, half asleep, but sure. "I meant what I said last night," he whispered. "I know," I said. "I'm still scared. I know that too." He leaned forward, resting his head against my chest. "I've never told anyone how I feel before. Not like this." "You don't have to tell anyone else," I whispered back. "Just don't stop telling me." He looked up, eyes bright, voice trembling but strong. "I used to think love had to be hidden, that it made you weak, but being with you..." He paused, searching for words. "It feels like the only thing that makes me stronger." My throat tightened. Nobody had ever said that to me before. Nobody had ever made me feel like I could be someone's safe place. He lifted his head and kissed me, slow, full of meaning. Not rushed, not hungry, just real. It wasn't about need anymore. It was about understanding, about letting go of years of pretending. Every touch, every glance felt like a promise we were both trying to keep. And in that quiet, I realized he wasn't just here for the night. He was here for all the mornings after. He didn't leave. Not that day. Not when we drank coffee in yesterday's clothes. Not when he leaned into me on the couch or reached for my hand without thinking. We didn't label it. We didn't have to. Because that morning, something had shifted. And for the first time, I knew. This wasn't just heat anymore. It was something real. Something lasting. It was something softer. The way he brought me coffee without me asking. The way he rested his chin on my shoulder while I made breakfast. The way his eyes lingered, like he was memorizing every detail. It was quiet, real, and it made my chest ache in the best way. Then something happened I didn't expect. We had a few friends over. Just a casual night with laughter, food, and a few beers. Nothing serious. But seeing him across the room, surrounded by people who didn't know about us, made my heart race. Would he pull away? Pretend? Act like nothing had changed? I sat there, trying to stay calm. And then it happened. One of the EU. Guys joked about dating, how Jace could have anyone he wanted. Everyone laughed except him. He looked at me, not nervous, not hiding, just sure. Then he said, "Actually, I'm kind of seeing someone." The room went silent. Marcus smirked. Oh yeah? Who's the lucky girl? Jace didn't even blink. He's sitting right there. The world stopped. My breath caught. Every head turned toward me. Jace just smiled, soft, calm, proud, like it was the most natural thing in the world, like he wasn't just saying it for them, but for me. After everyone left, he came up behind me in the kitchen, arms wrapping around my waist. You okay? He asked. I nodded. You didn't have to do that, I said quietly. I know, he replied. I wanted to. Why now? He smiled, brushing his thumb over my hand. Because I'm done hiding. Not from them. Not from you. Not from myself. I turned to face him, eyes burning. You have no idea what that means to me, I whispered. He rested his forehead against mine. I think I do. Because it means everything to me, too. That night, we didn't rush or pretend. We just held each other, face to face, breathing the same air, hearts steady. His fingers traced the side of my cheek like he was anchoring himself there. And in the dark, with nothing between us but truth, he whispered, I want this. I want you. Not just now, not just when it's easy. I want to fall asleep like this every night. Wake up beside you. Laugh, fight, forgive, and grow old and ridiculous together. I laughed through tears, voice trembling. I want that too. We didn't need a label or a title, we just needed honesty. And in that moment, wrapped in his arms, I realized something. He might have started out beside me, but somehow, he ended up right in the center of my heart, and I never wanted him to leave. Not then, not now, not ever. If this story touched you, don't forget to subscribe to Hidden Gay Tales, where real emotions, brave love, and untold stories come alive. Because sometimes the love you're afraid to admit is the one that changes everything.